Back now on a special edition of Triad today. I'm Jim Longworth. Our special guest for the entire half hour is seven-term Mayor of Charlotte, Pat McCrory, running for governor. Just for full disclosure here, we mentioned earlier in the program that Bev Perdue declined to come on this program. We told her we were going to give the whole half hour to Pat McCrory if she didn't show up. She didn't, and we are taping officially for the record on Wednesday, September 10th, 2008. Now, as governor, would you be willing to put a moratorium on companies in North Carolina that are shipping jobs overseas? I mean, it's one thing for a company to close down and say, I've got to go out of business, I can't compete. But what we're seeing is a lot of companies, abusing these trade agreements and say, oh yeah, I'm going to go hire slave wage labor somewhere else and kill these North Carolina jobs. Is there anything we can do, penalties, tariffs, anything as a governor that you can do, or can you do nothing?
I don't think the governor has an authority to do that because that's a federal tariff issue. I do think what the governor can do is build relationships with these companies that, first of all, make sure they're paying the taxes that are needed, but also I do think, for example, the tax rates in North Carolina are actually encouraging businesses to leave North Carolina. We have the highest corporate tax in the Southeast, the highest income tax in the Southeast. In other words, we're punishing people for investing in North Carolina. And I'm getting tremendous feedback as a mayor and as a gubernatorial candidate that not only will we move from North Carolina, we might just go right across the border to South Carolina or up to Virginia or to Tennessee where they have no income tax. In fact, one of the best kept secrets right now in business is those business people who start a successful business and then sell it, most of them move to Florida.
Jeez.
Because they avoid the incredible capital gains tax or corporate tax that we have here in North Carolina. So we lose that talent moving to Florida to avoid that tax, and then they don't reinvest that money back in North Carolina. So we need to look at, is our taxes driving away future and successful entrepreneurs that start businesses?
I don't doubt what you're saying. I think you could be right. But let me go back to the primary season. One of your opponents in the GOP primary, Judge Robert Orr, fine fellow, was railing against these industry incentives. We've had Skybus go bad on us in the Triad. Sure. We're now looking at Dell closing down and probably waiting until 2010 so they can keep half of the perks they got. I mean, to me, this is scurrilous stuff. I know we want to, it's my opinion, I'm sorry. But Judge Orr's feeling, and mine too, is we need to stop these incentives. If we were going to give anybody incentives, shouldn't it be people to give incentives that are here already to keep the jobs here instead of rewarding people the way we're doing? What's your position?
The bias I have on incentives is primarily toward manufacturing, because if we quit making products and live on the service industry alone or the government alone, we're going to go bankrupt as a state economy, and we won't have jobs left because there's no one to pay the bill. If everyone's working for government, then there's no one paying the bill.
It's a false economy.
It's a false economy, no doubt about it, and that's happening right now. And I think what my goal is to rejuvenate the economy by bringing the energy business to North Carolina. There's no reason that we should not be in the energy business. Beverly Perdue rejected the clean coal fire plant in Shelby, North Carolina, which would have hired 1,100 people. She said no to that.
I want to get to energy in a second,
but it is a job issue, getting in the energy business.
She says you oppose minimum wage increases.
That's interesting. I think we should have minimum wage increases, but it has to go coincide with tax breaks for small businesses, especially who might be discouraged from hiring, especially the entry-level part-time worker or the at-risk youth. In fact, what I'd like to do is have different minimum wages for the part-time summer worker or the at-risk youth that we just want to get in the door.
Right.
We just want to get in the door, but what we may do is actually discourage the small business person from hiring those people. So I want to offer tax breaks along with that minimum wage requirement that government puts on small business. What you don't want to do is lose jobs while at the same time increasing the benefits, and that's the fine line we must walk.
About a minute left in this segment. You went on a jobs tour, you called it a jobs tour in North Carolina. Take about a minute, what was that about?
It was trying to get feedback from the biggest challenge from employers, and the number one challenge is the high energy prices. The number two challenge is finding qualified employees to do the work. Even during a downturn in the recession and with a 30% dropout rate, the number one feedback I'm getting from employers is we can't find technicians, we can't find mechanics, we can't find labor to do welding.
Things that we used to excel at.
Yeah, and I think I told you this in the primary. We're pushing 4-year college degrees for everyone when in fact there's a labor need for technicians and mechanics and welders. And we need to put vocational training back into our high schools.
All right, we're going to be back after this short break with Mayor Pat McCrory.